Yeah, you should have held on because that went live.
Oh, lovely.
No hats.
No hats, just butts.
Hats off.
Anyway, this is D-Rez of Renegame Studios with an impromptu before the New Year stream of Diet D&D. We're going to try and start off a little bit of Season 3 early. I did not get the new setup working just yet because it's being a bitch. Otherwise, I am here with a few of the normal crew. Kaede Katsuragi.
Yo.
Lady Coco.
Howdy.
The wonderful Naora, who just muted herself. And the great and merciless Dungeon Master, Artificial Imagination.
Hello, I'm excited.
Little warning, we have been informed that this is going to be a very squeamish, or a very
Grotesque,
thank you, dungeon. So if you do not like that stuff, or if you are very susceptible to that stuff, please skip this first season. Because I don't know how long this is gonna be.
Skip this couple of sessions.
Yes.
Just dungeon may last 2 or 3.
Yeah, this dungeon itself is gonna be the problem.
Excessive grossness, vomiting, and bodily fluids.
Trigger word.
Nonsense.
Yes. So just skip this dungeon. We'll get back to some more tame stuff after this. Just trying something new. Take it away, oh DM.
When last we left our heroes, we had just returned after finding out the entirety plotline and what we've been fighting for with Carolyn and their hidey hole and Iridest. After receiving the signal and procuring Carolyn's piece of the thought, we returned home after a couple days, handed over the thought to Sabrak, who was just walked inside to supposedly put it away. When everyone is waiting in the courtyard and slowly disbanding, Edgar announces his potential temporary retirement of the actual employment of the Adventurers Guild into working with the council and the atrium itself. To have a new employee stroll up along the courtyard at the tower, a one Ardwin we are familiar with. We literally start there this morning, as this blonde-haired young man strolls up on a white horse through the iron gates of the courtyard. Malloy sends their paperwork and clipboard at the ready. Glosson, Naora, Willow, and a few others are about or slowly entering inside. So, Ardwin, you stroll up, and there is a large tower, about 12 stories, all of an architectural different feat. It looks stacked impossibly architecturally unsound, but somehow is standing. You stroll in, there's quite an interesting array of characters. Among the immediates, you see a couple of elves and someone who is on fire, question mark. And you see a moon elf holding a large clipboard who looks very formal, who seems to be expecting you.
He's gonna walk directly up to the moon.
Are you still on the horse?
Well, no. If we went indoors, then no.
No, you're in the courtyard. No, you're in the courtyard.
Excuse me, Bo, I just trumped my horse through your living room.
No, he's going to eloquently dismount and walk up to the moon elf.
Good morning, sir. I have everything. You need to start right here. He will hand you a packet of paperwork. This is your briefings and basically just an information packet of all employees to be filled out at your discretion. More prompt than not, we have a document man who can be very impatient if you take too long. If you catch my drift, he does kind of a playful wink.
Ardwin will nod, and rest assured I'll get this all filed away as soon as I possibly can.
Wonderful. Welcome to the tower. My name is Malloy. I am the secretary and help run the tower. He extends a hand politely.
Ardwin will extend a hand as well and shake his hand. Ardwin Bennett, though, seems that you already knew that.
Yes, sir. We were very pleased at your... Excuse me. We were very pleased at your interview. Miss Amber Rose spoke highly of you. It's always nice. Welcome to the tower. This is where you'll be residing in current residence. We have a floor for pretty much everything you would need. You have free roam of the tower. We have lobby, training floor, bathhouses, full works, stocked kitchen, dining hall, common room, maps, charts, and he starts listing off all the floors. We have a vast array of staff members and employees who will help attend to this. He lists off the general staff members like the alchemist and the wizard and such like to be commissioned of free of charge. He says, before we begin, everyone has one day to themselves to explore the tower on their own before they really settle in. So at your leisure, you may enter in and explore as you'd like to get used to your surroundings. The floors, your dormitories are up on the 10th floor. You'll find your name on a door. There's one set of staircase and teleportation circles to get to any floor you desire. Just think of the floor and you'll be there. Although first-timers, I advise the staircase.
Ardwin will nod. I am proficient in magic, as you've seen, so I believe I can handle the stairwells.
Fair enough. Malloy turns over to the other people here. Says, I'm sorry, I'm always going to get this wrong because of the way I want to pronounce your name. Bennett.
Yeah, like the Pokemon, Bennett.
Says, we have a few other employees here. If you'd like to say hello before you head inside. Otherwise, I will begin to see to the rest of your paperwork. Please feel free to explore. If you have any issues or need me, just simply call.
He will nod and thank the good sir, and he'll turn to face the employees standing by.
Malloy will nod and head inside, up the main set of stairs leading up into the tower lobby itself.
You know, I'm the Pokemon nerd, and I just realized that your pronunciation is probably correct because it's like Banshee and Marionette.
Oh my god.
I always said it Bayonet.
Like Baymax! No.
Yeah, no, that's completely wrong. What was I thinking?
Watch all the Pokemon people get triggered by this episode and be like, no, you pronounce it this way! We just start a war in the comments.
Oh, great. The Great Arceus War all over again. Arceus.
Oh, no. Well then.
Please, you guys, at your... Well, have fun.
Wheeze.
The blonde will turn and look at all of you, but before he walks up, he'll kind of... You can feel his eyes trail all over your forms. He's calculating. He's trying to figure you all out. Yep, pretty much.
Ardwin, as you look amongst the tower, everything looks very impressive in an odd way. Every floor looks incorrect because they don't match, but the fact that they're staying together so stably, it's very interesting. Up near about the 11th floor, there's a window that's blown out, kind of leaking a little bit of colorful smoke.
Arwin's going to raise an eyebrow at that and turn to the other three. Is that normal?
Yes, very normal. That would most likely be our resident experimental magician, Gregor Etch.
Alright, when you remember about a block away, you passed a little wizard's tower shop that said Etch's Sketches. You think it was a paperwork store.
Ah, I see. So they allow such experimentation in this place. That's intriguing.
I'm not certain that I would say allow it. He's just very eccentric.
So they let him get away with it.
To a point, he never causes harm.
Looks to several pieces of broken glass in the courtyard.
Physical harm.
Right. Well then, anyway, he's going to look to everyone. Who are you lot?
Will-O-Wisp, at your service.
This smoking half-elf comes up to you, decorated in a large crimson sword on their back and a few wands strapped to their torso.
He'll shake Willow's hand and he'll look you over. I'm certain you get this question quite a bit, but why exactly is your head smoking?
I'm hot. No, I'm kidding. I've been through a lot, and unfortunate accidents have occurred.
I see. So, accidents are a bit of a thing here, I see.
I love the first impressions.
Maybe not here, but I'm prone to accidents.
Definitely noted. He'll kind of take a step back from you and slowly kind of take out a kerchief and wipe off his hand.
Just Willow on Ardwin's do not stand near list.
Your hesitation is noted and understandable. I take my leave.
You head inside.
Ardwin will actually turn to the, I just remembered that you're technically both elven sorcerers. Well, he's gonna turn to Naora, anyway.
They would probably be more flashy, if you don't mind me saying so.
Yeah, the flashier of the two.
No,
And he'll smile and just be like, and who is this lovely young thing?
She'll blink, give a small smile. The name's Naora. Raises her hand.
I cannot move Ardwin's token.
Oh, I apologize.
He's stunned.
Please.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, madam. He'll reach out and take your hand and very gently kiss the back of your hand.
Ah,
The
yes.
truest of gentlemen.
The original
hot noises from
Ardwin.
Blossom. Yes.
A dick.
She'll blink in shock for a few seconds, not saying anything. The pleasure's mine. And she'll be stunned back in silence.
He'll immediately start trying to talk to you, asking what you do and how did you come to be this place? This is gonna hurt Glosson. You're not sure if he knows you're there.
Break screeching.
And we're
Season
broken
one,
this
Arwen.
early.
We haven't even gotten to the dungeon yet. New record.
Choice.
That's okay. Just let me roleplay this out for a minute.
Go ahead.
Oh, the pain! Anyway. Watson realized kind of early on, with Malloy giving the new intro and talking about the floors of the tower, he realized early on that Ardwin does not remember anything, and already he feels relatively disheartened. He will kind of either lean against the wall or lean against the chair, whatever's the closest, and he will meekly wait for Ardwin to be done trying to infatuate Neora.
So they've sat on one of the benches in the courtyard, and they talk for a good little bit until Neora, you do have to kind of go. You're sure you guys are going to be called up in the morning for something. So, it's like everyone else taking your leave, you have to take yours as well.
If I want to try and roll to charm Neora, what do I have to hit?
I believe that if in most cases that is a battle of charisma stats, so her DC for that save would be her base charisma.
Or it would be like a charming spell.
Right.
No, it's not a spell, not a spell, not a spell.
Mm-hmm. I believe it would just be a battle of your charisma scores.
What is your base charisma, honey?
Hold on, give me a second.
She didn't expect me to pull this!
As
This
someone
isn't good.
who,
He gets a decent bonus.
as someone whose other character excels in this, I should know. Shuffling paper, shuffling paper, shuffling paper.
Oh, my charisma is 17.
Ah, I didn't hit it then. I came really close though.
That's a really high charisma.
It's up there with Walkus. Walkus has got a high charisma.
Yeah, you're one below, wait, is it a competition of a roll or a competition of base charisma scores?
Base charisma well, your roll against her score.
Okay, I was about to say, because my base charisma score is higher. But I didn't roll high enough.
Why is
Yeah, it's a
everyone...
roll.
Belle feels outdone.
Somewhere off in potentially another realm, a tabaxi gets ruffled.
Belle's is only 15. I feel cheated. I will sit
Out of curiosity, how close were you?
2 points off.
I will sit here in a huff.
He looks good, Neora. He's not sure yet, but he's at least a decent looker.
Just one last look before turning to leave.
He's got a cute butt.
A tight perk ass, my lord. Oh lord.
Does he get back on the horse?
So nice. I'm gonna stop you there.
Please?
So Neora has to take her leave, and she politely disengages and heads inside.
Ardwin will smile, and he'll seem to kind of give himself an affirming nod of yeah, she's into me. Introducing Ardwin, the fuckboy. Anyway.
Wheeze.
Trying not to squeal.
Redwin's going to turn, and right as he's turning, he'll do a complete 180 about face, and then he'll kind of pause for a moment, and then he'll look to you, Glosson. Oh, I'm sorry, I seem to have gotten distracted. And he turns and he'll walk up to you. And you would be?
He looks nervous. You're not sure why, but he looks like nervous. You see him, you see the eye that's not covered by a decorative patch look him up and down. You see him straighten his posture and hold out a hand. Glosson, and he gives a last name. I have not decided his last name, so he gives one.
Glosson, you almost feel a shiver down your spine as you watch this man's eyes trail from the top of your head down to your toes and back again. You can feel that cold stab of judgment.
Ouch.
He'll reach out, take your hand quite firmly, and give it a good shake. Ardwin Bannett, if you're going to make a first impression introduction, I suggest you work on your posture, as well as your volume.
Ouch.
Oh god. Oh god, this hurts so bad. You see him visibly cringe. He's not hiding it. He visibly cringes.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna apologize for what he's about to say.
Oh god.
Mm-mm.
It's gonna hurt.
You have no presence. If you're going to work for a place as esteemed as this, you're going to have to implement that.
The return of the dick.
I want to be rude. I really do. But Glosson wouldn't be rude. He would be meek because he's intimidated.
The entire point of Eric.
Yes, sir. I'll take it into account. He sounds hurt.
Ardwin doesn't miss a beat. He just goes, good, and walks back to his horse.
Mm.
Willow, if you're still in the room. Right, literally. Willow, if you're still in the room, you see Glosson look visibly pained, or visibly pained. He kind of grips his cloak a little bit, and with tears in one visible eye, he starts to walk off.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I rush over to Glosson.
He stops and he slowly turns. You see that tear visibly roll.
Oh, I just put something together, but I don't want to metagame.
Okay. Clearly the DM knows something we don't.
No, I'm just sitting here thinking, with Willow's backstory, everything Willow's gone through, I feel like you can sympathize with the whole having to meet someone over again, like you did with Vivian and Sabrak.
Yes.
And that didn't go over well.
No. I know this is going to be hard, but it's clearly not the same Ardwin as who we used to know. We've just got to try and take this one step at a time like we had before.
I know. You hear the visible. You can hear the heartbreak in his voice, and he'll look to you dead in the eyes and go, "I'm highly disappointed that is not my friend anymore." And he'll stand there, kind of his arms around himself in an insecure posture. You can tell Ardwin's words had gotten to him to a degree.
If I remember correctly, he was this much of a jerk when we first met him, too. People can change.
For his sake, Willow, I hope you're right. Those words sound colder than what normally comes out of Glosson's mouth.
For your sake, I hope I'm right.
As you all turn around and give him a look, Ardwin is back by the horse. He has Elmar's reins in his hand. He's appears to be talking with Tully, the great big robot butler, is back. Tully is holding the paperwork and looking over it, as well as what appears to be several notes that have been jotted down while Malloy was talking. He'll hand them over to Ardwin, and Ardwin is going to be looking over them. And he'll flip through them. You'll see him look. As he is doing this, you will see Tully look up and make direct eye contact with you, Glosson. And Tully, the robot butler, the mechanical golem, will raise a single finger to where its lips would be. Shh.
Tully remembers.
Oh. At the look of this.
Do you remember when Ardwin wasn't a dick? Tully remembers.
Right. Oh my god. This robot butler manages to bring a half smile back onto this elf's face as he realizes somebody at least remembers. Or at least, I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He at least remembers.
As you all begin to disband, Ardwin, you are met at the door, the front door of this large staircase. Remember, the inn of the Ms. and Mr. sits at the bottom for a common vehicle. And from the courtyard, there's also a set of stairs that goes up into the first floor of the tower. Everyone kind of goes up to that first floor. And as I'm just going to say, you were the last one to enter, finding a place to hitch up Elmar with the other horses in the carriage stalls in the courtyard here. So as you get up to the door, you are met at the door, opening wide, to a drow. It stands there with a very impressive raiment and sword, looks dead in the face, holding a large green cloak and a pin. Just looks at you with the same intensity you've looked at everyone else this morning. Or this evening. You do not know who this person is. You had an interview with a paladin only.
Ardwin will take a moment. His eyes will widen again. His eyes will go over this person. Kind of try to figure something out before he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the cloak and the pin, which I'm assuming he saw some of the others wearing.
Correct.
He'll look at this man. You are another employee here, I presume?
Close. I'm your manager. Good to have you back.
Ardwin was about to apologize for misspeaking about who this person was, but he kind of clams up and gives him a funny look.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sure why you just said welcome back. He's never been here before.
Mm-hmm. He hands you the cloak and the pin and explains his position and your role, and he begins to give you orientation. And you kind of wander off in the tower with him and explore on your own.
Awesome.
He does not bring that up anymore. He glosses over it like he didn't say it.
Kind of like a slip of the tongue.
Ardwin just kind of shrugs. He assumes, okay, probably mistook me for somebody else. I don't know how, but...
That's fine. You get familiar with Sabrak as you know Sabrak. As you would now, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you explore the tower and your first day and such like. The rest of you have the evening to yourselves, and you take the evening to properly relax. It's good to sleep in your own bed. It's a good evening. It's mostly quiet. Before you all go to bed tonight, you get a sending spell on your badges from your manager that basically says, "Good news, bad news. We have gotten reports from the nearest scouting party that the third dungeon of Lost City is already open. as much as I hate to say this, we need you guys to be ready to take part in that first thing in the morning. I know you just got home, but unfortunately, we need you to do this.
Does Ardwin get this or no?
Ardwin does not.
Okay, good. Wanted to clarify that.
You may have overheard it from somebody if you were near anybody. You imagine, as I'm sure Severick would have brought up something about quests and such, so you would imagine because you're on the newer tier, you're not assigned to this.
Okay, yeah. Well, he's probably in his room unpacking.
But, okay, fair enough. It would be like an announcement, so yeah, you probably hear it, but it wouldn't be directed at you.
Okay.
Those who care, listen in, and Severick is reading from a script. He's not openly talking about this, he's reading from a script. And begins to tell you that the information they've dug up is the third king of Lost City refers to a tiefling named Rebus. He was the king and keeper of animals, provider of animals and meats. It's been closed for at least 1,000 years, and he basically just says, I don't know what's down there. Remember to commission whatever you need from anybody.
I hate you.
Oh?
I remember us discussing him.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you.
So, those who care, you can commission whatever you want, stock up whatever you'd like to be ready to go first thing in the morning.
Also, remember that Edgar is also on that employee roster now.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I just imagine Glosson just calling Edgar and be like, you never told me he'd be such an asshole.
Do you want to do that?
Oh yeah, Glosson will call Edgar and be like, Edgar, you never told me he'd be such a dick.
Oh yes, he certainly was when I first met him as well.
First. So what, does he learn to have a heart, or you can hear the hurt in his voice?
I'm not sure, to be honest. He just seemed like a good match when I first met him.
Well, you certainly mellowed out his personality.
I have to admit I let a bit more of my own personality show through than I really intended. I guess you just have that effect on me. He kind of drawls out. A little sing-songy.
He smiles. You can't see it, but he does a little bit.
Alrighty, folks. Does anybody commission anything before you go to bed? And absolutely. Tell me what you want. Mm-hmm.
I want a belt full of potion.
I can give you. Roll me a.
Just how many I'm allowed, please.
Yeah. I can give you for free 4 minor health potions, which will be pretty much like a couple of D6 worth of health points a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Garricus easily tosses that your way.
Okay.
As you guys brief, and I'm sure you talk back to the manager to queue up everything, he basically regrets to inform everybody that since budgeting is now becoming a problem, we cannot expend 8 employees on every adventure. What we have to do is substitute system. So basically, Glosson, Naora, Willow, and he says only up to 4 people for this quest at the moment can be allowed. He does not disclose immediately. It's more like he basically says there's going to be 4 people going on this journey, and each one of you hear your own name be picked from the roster, but you don't hear any of the 3 other people you're going to be paired with. It's like a form of drafting. You just know you're going to be on this mission. Any of my other 2 players commission anything this morning, or?
Yes.
What would you like?
She would like to actually commission a rapier.
Absolutely. You get a very finely made rapier.
Thank you.
Looks at all the crap I already have attached to me. I think I'm good.
Fair enough. Alright, so you all go to bed, and for the first night in several months, you all wake up at 3 in the morning, realize, and happily go back to sleep. You no longer have to deal with chips. Sorry, 4 in the morning, I apologize. As you guys get a decent night's sleep, the camera pans out and will zoom into the atrium. I'm going to politely ask you to say this out loud before we continue, if you'd like to commission anything. Is everyone happy?
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I wanted to say it, but then things kind of moved along, and I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, no, please, no, stop me.
I wanted to know if there's a possibility that Glosson could commission some sort of a shield.
Sure. What kind of shield are you looking for?
Something red, white, and blue, and maybe made of vibranium?
Have a discussion about truth, honor, justice. God bless America. Thank you, those who got that reference.
We'll say for the time being, since you only have a night to prepare, you can't get the best, but Iridalis works with you and gives you at least a decent shield that'll give you a +1 on your AC.
Thanks, appreciate it. I'm sorry.
Oh, dang. Okay, I don't have everyone's token here because it's literally a separate map, so you just have to use your brain.
I have one?
But the the camera zooms out and zooms into the atrium. It is the middle of the night. The lights are dimmed down. Most of the people walking about are night goers, people in almost forms of pajamas, sleepwalkers, people who just started the nightly grind. Very minimal attendance, but around, excuse me, one of the tables that has risen up out of this jade floor, there's a good collection of people. Among them, you see the paladins, including Miss Amber Prose. You see the managers of the adventuring guilds, Kor Sabrak, and you see some other people you believe would be bean counters or money makers. Among them, you see your tower resident, Heinrich Sinovel. And they seem to be eagerly discussing, almost in a hushed tone, budgeting and matters. Malakin is there briefly. As the camera zooms in, she hears something from Ascending Stone and pockets it and mutters something about Dr. Marlowe and wanders off. The budgeting meeting seems to be stressful. They have reached the point where that fingers are on the bridge of the nose, paperwork has been strewn across the desk. They've been here a while. And you can tell people are getting tired of it. Heinrich seems to be bringing up the biggest case as the camera zooms in. Mr. Devian, I cannot believe we can try to expand some of these expenses. He flips through several of these pages. The Bialma branch is missing, and with that, our funding must be strewn where it is needed. We cannot impromptu a war. Do you understand the mass of the expenses? He waves a large tailored bill, and the paladins seem to try to confer amongst themselves. This war, Mr. Aditya steps in, will be for the betterment. Everyone here has agreed. The expenses will remain. It is necessary. You okay?
Yep, sneezed. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. Heinrich gets all up in a fuss and just starts flustering and beginning to argue. These expenses are absolutely ridiculous. You can't possibly imagine each of these branches to take these on ourselves. Croft has been up my ass about these expenses. Sabrak just turns to him with this stern, dead face and just calls him by his last name. Sinoval. He shuts up real quiet. But, Mr. Devian, look, I'm having a hard time justifying these. I mean, this one here in particular, a planar gate, an unregistered doorway. Why are we doing such a thing out of our league? Why are we doing these massive expenses? Sabrak just takes a single hand and just presses the bill down to the table. Not like away from his face, just I don't want to see this, and just pins it to the table. Still in Heinrich's hand. And he says, Mr. Sinoval, this is my behest of a planar gate. I feel it in the best of all interests that quicker travel would yield quicker results. And it's coming out of my personal expenses and my personal budget. He says with a bit of bite. At that, you see Mr. Heinrich just completely begin to kind of flash back in almost a quick little sweat. Well, yes, of course then, absolutely. He starts to gather up his papers and start to re-account for the budgeting. The meeting continues for a few moments more before it quickly begins to adjourn when everyone's obviously had enough. It's that time of the morning, and they basically say, put this on pause, we'll continue tomorrow. As people begin to disband from the meeting, everyone briefly shakes hands and says some form of goodbye. Vivian packs up her little, what am I looking for? Her ledger she has, and she stands from the table, and her eyes almost roll back in her head, and she stumbles and catches herself on the table. Several people, including Sabrak, are a half step over, ready to catch her. Says, I'm fine. She does the fingers to the bridge of the nose. She winces. Sabrak steps in close, puts a gentle hand on her pauldron. Are you all right? Yes, I'm sorry, I haven't been sleeping well. Sabrak just kind of gets this almost worried look, and he nods. He says, I understand. We'll get it. She says, I gotta stop having nightmares. Says, yes, we'll sort it out.
Nightmares?
She seems to pick herself up, and they disband. Camera zooms back out, and we come back to the tower, first thing in the morning. Those of you who have been called on this assignment, the three of you in particular, where do you meet?
Probably in the lobby.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that would be a good place.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So as you guys kind of... Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask really quick if I'm going to get a fill-in later of what Mama Kin was doing with Edgar, or was that just kind of like a...
She will be discussing she will be helping you with research on the thoughts. She is the, she is the knowledge coordinator.
Okay. Forgot about that.
Yep. So the three of you meet up in the lobby, and you realize, oh, well, we're all together. You've all been individually assigned. Cool. At least it's someone you know. Sabrak comes in through Dorman, as per usual. It says, 3 or 4. Not bad. He kind of sighs. He just kind of waits. You can tell he is not happy about this.
Glosson will pipe up. Sir, I mean no disrespect, but why so few? Unless it was already explained.
Unfortunately, budgeting has to be cut back. You're trying to balance the loss of the Bialma branch currently, as well as other expenses. He looks to you, Glosson, assuming you know. You know, personally, they're also trying to fund a war, so that's something. Within a few moments, you hear a very loud tumbling. Someone straight up fell down a flight of steps. Sabrak kind of perks up a little bit. Well, there she'd be. Rushing through the doorway and completely just dusting herself off and acting like nothing happened, strolls in Milena Clemens. Sorry I'm late? This blonde-haired fighter in plate mail with a mace hugged to her hip quickly steps in and lines up with the rest of you, flips the half-parted curly hair on one side of her head, smiles to everyone, quick little wave, turns back to Sabrak. Thank you for joining us, Miss Clemens. I believe I briefed you on everything you need to know. I need a leader. Willow, are you willing to step up as a leader?
I will most certainly try my best.
Good. Please, everyone, let's get this underway. And just awkwardly ushers everyone outside. You only need to take one carriage. That's the good news.
Me, the leader thing, suddenly remembering, oh, right, that used to be me.
So you all load up to one of the carriages. We'll say you take Briha, the horse, in your carriage. As you all kind of file in, Willow, Sabrak briefly stops you and just kind of whispers to you, watch Milena. She's troublesome.
I can only assume, or presume.
I know one of your backgrounds, and she fits along those lines. Just keep an eye out.
Will do.
He lets you go, and to your surprise, you guys are waiting for like another 5-day journey across the map. You realize you're going to have to go through Homestead, past Mean of Ice, through the jungle, through the Desert of Fire to get to Lost City. Oh boy, here we go again. Instead of going inside, Sabrak walks up to the iron gates. You see him fumble with something as you guys begin to pull out, and the entire iron gate turns into a purple portal, much like Dorman. He steps aside and says, I thought it would be convenient to give you guys an expressway instead of having you trek several days to get there, since this is top priority. I hope you don't mind.
Not in the least. I am looking forward to not having to travel through the Desert of Fire again.
Right. This should lead you just outside of Lost City. Good luck. So, who's driving?
I'll drive. Get in the car.
Get in the cart!
Get in, bitch, we're going shopping.
Who sits where?
Glosson sits as far away from Arden as he can. Oh, wait,
Arden's not here.
Arden's not gonna be there. I forgot, I'm sorry.
So yes, you're sitting very far away from him.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I forgot he wasn't gonna be there.
Neither Arwen nor Edgar are here. I'm actually not in this one.
I'm so used to you being here, it's weird.
I know, right? And I'm here verbally, so it's different.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, he'll just sit across the way from, well, Willow's driving, so that leaves Neora and Milena. So Glosson's gonna sit instead as far away from Milena as possible, because she is not one of his favorites.
That's fine. So I'm sure you guys are going to sit in the back, and Milena will sit there. She'll try and bring up conversation. She seems cheerful. I'm sure she gets a little bit of "I don't want to talk to you" mood from you guys, but she doesn't take it personally. She doesn't seem to be bothered by it. It's that, I've been left with a new friend, and I don't really want to talk to you kind of deal. It's that little bit of awkwardness. She seems polite. For now.
Glosson, do you have the Raven with you?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask, was that... he and I did a roleplay at one point with Glosson and Milena, and Milena turned out to be not such a nice person to him, anyway, in his opinion. So, is that canonical?
I would assume so. That was in the tavern. Yes.
Okay, good, yeah. I just wanted to be sure so Glosson doesn't look like a total douche.
Yeah, no, there's a little bit of sourness. No, she knows you. Oh yeah, she's seen you before.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she remembers you guys from the dungeon bubble, if anything.
So he looks like a douche nozzle right now, but Glosson has reasons for not liking her as much.
No, she seems, from your interpretation, she seems to understand. Like, she perceives she's not the most likable person, but at the same time, she's like, of course, girl, it's me. Everyone likes me.
God.
So, much like before, you guys just go right through this portal and empty out just shy of the large plateau peninsula at Lost City. Please, feel free. The game is yours.
Wait, so we're there.
The portal teleports you directly right in front of Lost City. No travel.
Okay. Hey, Neora, Glosson's gonna get out of the cart. You hear him mumble something about posture. He seems kind of ticked.
Aw.
He's just posture.
Neo will turn to Glosson and be like,
Wait.
Hey, Glosson, where do you have that Raven? Is it just on your shoulder, or is it just kind of sitting on your head like a big ball of feathers?
Just for the comedy of the fact that he's irritated, I'm gonna have the Raven sitting on his head.
The Raven is going to sit on your head and look like a big fat burb of feathers.
I imagine the thing would curl up like one of the large fuzzy hats.
Pretty much.
Neo will turn to Glosson and just hear and see him mumbling and ask, "What's the matter?"
He stops getting out of the carriage and just turns and he sits and he crosses his arms and he looks at you. He's not the same. I'm sorry. I'm angry. He's not the same. He's a jerk, Neora, an absolute ass. He doesn't really seem to care about anyone but himself. I mean, he doesn't remember anything. Our friendship meant nothing. And that last word came out as slightly quivered. You can tell that he's going through the motions of losing a friend.
It may not be the exact same Ardwin. I butt in.
Oh, that bandit guy? Milena just kind of chimes in the conversation.
Yes, that Bannet guy. Complete asshole. Now.
His trousers are in a knot.
Yeah, and I'd like to stick it with a cinder bloody shine. He's not happy.
Yes, girl.
I'm sorry! What the fudge?
Yes, Milena did just say yes, girl, to you.
Huh?
You don't believe she knows? You think she just said it to be sassy? But I'm sure Glosson has that internal panic for a second.
A moment, you see him flinch a little bit, but
Yes, boy. Yes, boy, she corrects herself, realizing how that sounds to you.
he gives a half smile and just kind of, oh, yeah, it's all right. I knew what you meant.
Awkward.
Glosson, you feel a hand gently placed on your on top of yours in like a comforting gesture, and you see Neora is trying to comfort you, and she said, "I've noticed something off too, but let's take this one step at a time. We don't know."
There's a deep breath. He just kind of heaves a sigh and he nods at her. You can tell he's going through the motions. He knows that this is not the same Ardwin as before, but it still hurts because he's lost someone that was important to him once. And Neora, you see him return said gesture. He looks like he wants to, I don't know, give you a hug, but he chooses against it. For your own comfort. And he kind of, no, you're right, and if anything, maybe things could be somewhat the way they used to be. And Willow, you feel he's also addressing you in this case. Perhaps things may be sort of the way they were before, but I'm sorry, I have my doubts, and that's going to hurt for a while.
Well, let me tell you about my best friend.
Anyway.
So, as you kind of have this moment, Milena kind of awkwardly pats her knee. She's kind of waiting, like, I want to leave this carriage, but you guys are having a moment kind of deal. And she waits for you to finish up. And then she politely kind of pats Glosson on the knee and says, there, it'll be okay, I'm sure. And then she kind of quickly makes for the door, and as she gets halfway out, she kind of peeks back and says, I've been wanting to tell you, all right, I love you, bird, but I didn't want to, yeah, okay. And she just kind of pops out.
The bird kind of looks up. It blinks all four eyes one at a time. Its neck is abnormally long.
So Milena hops out of the carriage and eagerly rushes around to Willow. Okay, let's go. I'm excited.
Okay, let's move on.
So again,
You gotta calm your roll there, miss.
much like before, you hit that spot where you cannot traverse anymore with the carriage because of the tree stumps, and you must continue on foot.
Before getting out, Neora will just give Blossom's hand a small, reassuring squeeze.
You see him smile and nod. He appreciates it.
And she gives you a look like she understands where you're coming from.
Willow, as you begin to trek your way forth, Milena kind of quickly hustles up next to you and just kind of jogs beside you. I know you get this a lot, but sorry, I have to ask. You're aware you're on fire, right?
Yes, I'm very much aware that I am on fire.
Okay, sorry, I know, but I've seen people burn to death. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
It's that moment of, oh, right, you're gonna be awkward, aren't you, kind of moment.
This Willow's on fire.
All right, guys, please, take it away.
Neora just stands back and tries to keep step with you.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
Clausen catches up. He gives you a reassuring, like a half smile. You can tell after what just happened, he's feeling a little better.
She gives you a reassuring smile. Said Shell.
Well, and he looks at Milena and Willow and just... Not gonna get anywhere just standing here, so certainly.
Like, well, alrighty then, let's go.
Let's go to the city.
To see the Oz. I mean, what?
We're off to see the wizard.
Somewhere, Edgar gets a twitch in his eye.
I get it. That's funny.
Much like before, you come upon the very deforested area, nothing but tree stumps and a few downed logs. Willow, you can still see the dead patches of square grass where once a sandstone tower from the cultists resided.
Yeah, I'm still glad that's over.
Please, continue.
O leader, where shalt you lead us?
Into the hole.
Everybody in the pit!
Again, you pass by this large mechanical steel box with rusted saw blades. This tree feller device still remains. Milena wanders off for a couple of steps and just kind of marvels at it for a second, considering it. Willow, you know there's a large crater that signifies over the main center hub of Lost City, as well as a more convenient metal hatch you guys have been down before.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like only yesterday Mons came with us and... Wait, wasn't Mons the one that discovered the freaking door?
I forget, but possibly so.
I feel like it was the Mons that saw the door first and opened it. I thought it was the big, giant machine that they noticed first.
Milena will actively kind of just turn around and call to you guys. Does anyone know what this is? Just kind of awkwardly point.
It's an automated tree cutter.
A what now? She kind of looks around, notices, or, puts it together. Nifty! Oh, okay. She quickly kind of joins you guys. Who is first to hatch?
A leader. A call.
I mean, if nobody is, I'll
I have
go.
the crow this time.
Oh, yes, be the crow, please.
For those wondering at home why I'm not playing, we talked about the trigger warning at the beginning. I actually do have those triggers, so that is why my characters are not playing today.
Understandable.
Kaede will be joining us for as long as she can.
This. Yeah, please, if you need to step out at any point, please let us know. I don't blame you.
Alright, let's go on in.
Unless anyone expressly closed this, I presume the hatch still remains open.
Oh.
So this hatch leads to a large set of spiral staircase that just entwines the extent of the outer atrium here of the 12 gigantic thrones. And one by one, you make your way down these steps. I need everyone to roll me a deck save!
Shit.
Here we go again.
It's a good thing I remember to grab Lawson's character sheet online. Pat's the bird. Pat.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm. What order are you guys going down?
Well,
Honestly, that's a good question.
I would have presumed that I went down first.
Melina probably second.
Unless you guys
next
seem
up.
eager to go first. Okay, so Glossen's last.
Yee.
Okay. Everyone else, please roll.
60.
Okay, good.
I got a 60.
13?
Yeah, they're gonna work.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Okay, so Willow, you are taking this all in again, considering it's been a while since you've been here. And much like before, that one slippery step catches you just right, and your foot slips out from underneath you, and you like hit the ground hard on your butt, and you just begin to start sliding. You catch Melena's foot in a wild panic, because there's no railing on this. This thing goes down for like 7 or 8 floors, and there's no railing. There's only the wall to your left. And you catch her foot, and she slips as well.
Oh dear.
You only slide about 10 or so steps as she kind of pulls out her mace and just kind of jams it into a good solid surface to stop you guys from falling anymore. But she kind of, in this fall, she kind of tries to reflex and grapple you with her ankles to make sure, she at least tries to hold you. So, Naor, you see Willow just miss a step, and you see Melina go down with her for about 10 steps, and you see them catch themselves. Whew! Melina makes sure you're stable enough, and she kind of just lets go. What steps? She just kind of says, trying not to be embarrassed about that.
Let's try this again, please.
Wow, watch this up! Melina just kind of meekly calls up to you guys.
Blossom will use his quarterstaff to help him get down, no problem.
So you begin to make the rest of your way down. These 12 gigantic thrones, still untouched and decrepit. A large tree trunk remains in the middle of this stone atrium from where it's fallen from the crater above. You recognize Mazis's crumbled ruins and Carolyn's covered throne. And you know you're looking for a new dungeon under a name Rebus, who should be a tiefling.
No D20, that's not what I want. Shit. Okay, there we go. Let's see.
So, feel free to move your tokens and do as you please at this point. As you finally make your way down to the bottom.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the statues, and,
Yes?
is there a female amongst these kings?
Oh, there's several females. Yes, it was described in the text that not all the kings are male. But they were referred to as kings.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant for this one to look like a tiefling, but it looks like a tiefling.
Very good, Glosson. That one does look like a tiefling. And despite the token, it does appear to be masculine.
Ah, okay, good. I was about to say, that's where I'm confused. Glosson points out the statue. I think it's that one?
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Agreed. Coco just outside gaming. As long as you don't fall again, we're good.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
There was a statue of a large tiefling man seated in this gigantic throne. The statue seems to be made out of a very, very shiny copper that is aging well. It's not pristine, but it's aging well. There's a large tapestry, much like the other ones, that seems to depict in an ancient language, but picture enough to get context of a man who seems to be a farmer, an animal man, of all sorts. You see, like, cows, horses, and it seems to be just, the epitome of some sort of ranch handler.
Can we
You can
recognize?
see. Go ahead.
I was like,
Go ahead.
can we recognize the language at all?
No, much like before, you cannot really decipher this language. It doesn't really connect with any languages you know of. It might be like a made-up language
Gotcha.
or a code of some sort. You can tell the large doorway underneath this throne is completely open before you guys even get close enough to read the tapestry. Much like a stone door sliding up into a ceiling. There's just this vacant, dark mass up underneath the throne of where you guys would enter into supposedly Revis's dungeon or domain, whatever you would like to describe it as. It is a large, empty area. You see no immediate... it does not continue onwards like Carolyn's dungeon continued into his office. It seems to be just a empty space.
Like
I'm just
Ardwin's
gonna
face when it
move
first
you
broke.
guys over.
Gee, thanks.
No, it's a room. It's not black and voided. It's like the inside of the bottom of the throne. You can tell Melena's kind of dallying a bit. She's taking this all in. She's just entranced by all this she's discovering for the first time.
So we're inside of everything now?
Well, I haven't said anyone's gone in. I'm saying from what you can see, it looks like the underside of the throne.
Okay, sorry.
You believe this to be some form of entrance, but you're not sure beyond that.
Okay.
So you guys have already done 2 of these? Elaine just kind of looks around, very excited.
Well, I have.
That's pretty sweet.
They're something special.
Oh, I love a good dungeon. She nods eagerly. What's the etiquette, ma'am?
We go in and try not to die.
Fair. Where do we go in?
It's usually behind the statue.
Oh, okay. She begins to walk around the throne.
Well, I'm not stopping her.
Nope, me either. Anyway, let's all
I
look
was
for
about
the
to say,
entrance.
is nobody gonna correct her?
You see her wander around. You just stand there and hear footsteps trail off for about 20 steps. Step, 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 step. I don't see anything. Step, 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 step. She'll come back in a few moments. I don't see anything.
Well, let's keep looking then. Maybe behind the portrait. Who knows?
She'll sit here and ponder the tapestry a little more. You see her pull out a book and start flipping through it. You think she may be trying to reference the script.
Can we look behind the tapestry?
Oh, the tapestry's hanging up like a banner above a door. The entire door, the front of the throne is open. It's been pulled down into the floor. And you can see the cavity that is under the underside of the throne open where you guys have walked into the previous dungeons before.
Good.
But you do not see, from your outside perspective, any immediate, like, mechanism to activate a door or anything.
But the door is open.
Yes, it is open.
Then we go in.
Okay, you walk into the underside of the throne, which is just, again, it's literally just this big stone cube. You don't immediately see any form of activation or mechanism to activate the door or the entrance. Seeing Willow go in, Milena will kind of hastily walk in, follow behind her, and begin to examine the inside.
I mean, is it really dark? Can she even see?
It's a little dark. She will pull out her, yeah, there you go. She will pull out her mace and flick the lighter on the end of it, like a torch.
I guess Boston and Nora follow behind? Question mark? I don't want to speak for Nora. But...
She also uses detect magic to see if there's any magic.
Ooh, absolutely. So you run a detect magic, and you get a faint magic sense, but you can't quite tell from where. But nothing immediate here, you don't believe.
Okay, and you said I can't quite tell where I'm getting that magic sense, right?
No, you can't discern where. You think it would either be maybe somewhere below you or somewhere in Lost City as is. It's hard to tell. If I can get each of you to roll an investigation check for me. Willow, you remember Mazis had like a pressure plate system, and Carolyn's door just walked right through. So you're looking for possibly how to open this dungeon, now that the padlock's off, so to speak.
Well, shit, I got nothing.
I got 18.
Oh, wonderful. No, you got the highest, so you don't see any form of, again, no mechanism. It just seems like solid stone. You are sure there is some sort of touch or sensor mechanism in here. At this point, everyone's just kind of looking around closely with any sort of light source, looking at the edges and cracks. No one's tried to stomp or press or touch anything. You believe it'll probably maybe be something, since you can't detect anything magical, it wouldn't be like a password. It would probably be just a contact sensor. Like a wall needs to be touched or pushed or something.
Indiana Jones style.
Maybe it only allows animals.
Speaking of which, I rolled for the damn bird.
Mm-hmm. What'd the bird get?
19.
Louise?
So the bird...
No modifiers.
So the bird gets a sense that this is home.
Oh.
Hmm?
And the bird instinctively knows the way to get to home is to touch any of these walls.
Wait, hell?
Home.
Oh, this is weird. Does the bird do anything? Because he is sitting on, or he, she, they is sitting on Glossin's head.
I don't know. Does the bird do anything?
With the bird is going to extend its weirdly long neck and
Zoom.
kind of gently start pecking on one of the walls.
The first peck. Everyone feels the floor vibrate and quake. And slowly the door behind you begins to rise up out of the floor and shut you in. Milena panics for half a second and turns around like, okay, am I ready for this? Realizing they're about to be trapped. The large stone slat seals you guys in, and this may be I'd say about 10 foot by 10 foot cube, save for your light sources. The floor below you begins to slowly dip inwards like a sinkhole. Malena will begin to be on her toes and kind of back up towards a corner as you see the floor slowly kind of meld down the center and just get increasingly worse until you guys are finding it hard to stand upright as this floor is just slanting downwards, and an aperture appears in the middle of the floor, like it breaks through, and a widening deep hole just begins, like this thing's turning into a tunnel chute.
Oh boy.
How to react?
Accurate.
I'm glad that that the Raven's bringing entertainment today.
When Arwen can't be a shit, you get a bird.
If you guys are not obviously aware, Malena's going to be shouting out, making sure you understand what's going on here. At least there's a hole appearing in the floor. She's backing herself up at a corner, and she's kind of looking around, trying to figure out, what are my options?
Can I jump in the hole?
As if you would like to voluntarily jump in the hole, you can jump in the hole.
I voluntarily jump in the hole.
Seeing Willow just jump in the hole, no fear, Malena kind of pieces together, this may be what happens. And she kind of takes a moment, looks to you two. Okay, she gulps hard, and then she just jumps in as well. At this point, you guys are clinging onto the wall for dear life because you cannot stand upright. The floor widens out to the edges. If you do not willingly jump, you will fall in.
Neo will jump in.
Glossen's left alone, he shrugs. Well, I love life, and jumps in the hole.
Where did the bird go? Oh, it's in the hole.
The bird flies down after Glosson.
The bird.
Have you guys seen the hole?
Willow. Is it a movie?
No, it's a Tom Scott skit.
Oh, I think I know that one. It's been so long.
I love that one.
Nice. All right. Would now be a good time to take a quick bathroom break? Does anyone need anything?
Please.
Yeah, this would be good before we get started here.
Yeah, I'll hit the intermission, and I'll show you guys the hole.
Okay.
A bird in the hole. I guess that means it's a birdie. Golf joke.
Yay, golf joke. Golf clap.
A hole in floor?
Ha! I get it. Alright, I'll be right back.